So I am an angel investor now. I do focus mostly around the social business, which has an impactful stories and not only people as well as planet. I'm also a resident mentor at NSR Cell, and we do have a few groups of people, student entrepreneurship, social, as well as the incubation happening. It's one of the 20-year-old organization in the country, so there's quite a bit of action happening there as well. So given this current context, I think one of the reason we wanted to have is about as an entrepreneur, right? Every crisis is an opportunity. So we're trying to probably leverage this session to figure out what are those and how people have done it, and we'll go deeper on that in a little bit while. And so this question about the topic as well, right? It is about farming, and that's Kiranmai likes that statement very well. You know, when we are in Gujarat the last time, he was asking, "You're calling yourself a farmer, right? What does that mean? You know, you do agriculture." So that is a kind of an euphemism, right? The word farmer is being looked out down in the country. So I want to change the perception. So farmer means I'm trying to grow as many startups possible. That was a thought. Obviously, you know, I have a lot of interest in agriculture because impact-wise, that could make a lot of things. Then the question came out. I think someone asked a very interesting question last time about why farming startup. I think this is where we're going to go a little deeper today as well. So if you look at the scenario of a salesperson, we have two things in sales called farming and hunting. So the hunter, he'll just take his bow and arrow, hit a direction, just hit every deer he could and start gathering. One day he could be very well doing, and one day nothing will happen. So the hunter is based on purely luck most of the time, and also being opportunistic. But the moment the mankind started understanding how to do agriculture, they started farming, right? They started settled down along the rivers. They figured out how to put a seed, put a water in it, grow the thing, and start growing the grains. So that means that they figured out, those like a visionary, you know what you want, the end output, and you started working towards the output, plowing the land, sowing, putting whatever is required, nurture it, grow it so that the paddy which you aimed as an outcome coming out. So that is the reason I call myself as a farmer growing startups, because I want visionary entrepreneurs to come with an attitude that what is the outcome you want, what is the world you want to build, and then start plowing the land with that attitude. So with that, I stop here, and Nagarajan probably will go to the next questions. Yeah.
Yeah, I also agree that, startup is not something you are trying your luck with. It is actually a studied effort with a clear vision, goal, mission, and the methodologies. And to how to do it, the vision is personally set by the entrepreneur, but how to do it and how to go about it, we are all here to support all the students and the startups, and especially our enablers who are the principals and the teachers and their mentors who are associated with us to catalyze them. So this sudden challenge that we have got, how do we look about it? Because now we have to adapt. So how can startups adapt to this new challenge, and what is happening right now?
Absolutely. I think so. If you look at this current crisis, personally, I've seen the 97 from the economic perspective, 97 Asian crisis, 2000 dot-com crisis, 2008 recession, right? All these crises, all are all economic crises. And it took a while for people to figure out what hit them, right? It took like a year for Hollywood to do a movie around the 2008 recession. So people have not figured out like what hit us and what will make us back to the normal, right? They were all trying to, a lot of fear in the system. It took a while for it to come out. But in this case today, all of us know what the crisis is. The zero cell creature is threatening the mankind, right? But compared to the 100-year-old flus and things like that, we have very intelligent people across the world trying to find solutions. I'm sure we will find a solution very soon. But this also puts things in perspective about what is the magnitude of problems in front of us. So coming back to economy, right? So we know who our enemy is, this little virus. So now people are talking about, the economy is stopped to find a cure for this virus. So what European calling it is about putting economy on coma, right? What US has done about plowing $3 trillion of money into the economy. The 3 trillion is almost equivalent to the Indian GDP. So why? Because they want to keep the economy on a frozen state, on a, what they call on a coma state. The moment there is a good news, there is a vaccine figured out, there is a drug that is working, Italy is flattening out, US is flattening out. The moment there is a good story, good news, the economy will pick out, because we are artificially pressing this button that we can release the button the moment there is a good news, right? So that means that the economy has a potential to bounce pretty quick. But the longer the lockdown, there may be some repercussions. So there could be a potential of, is there a U or a V or a W, all those discussions happening in the economy. But as an entrepreneur, what you need to know is about, we are living in a world with a lot of intelligent people. We will find a solution. Then the next is about the economy. It gives a great opportunity, because as an entrepreneur, you're always looking for problems. And today, this whole world is opened up to the huge problem in front of us, and you have an opportunity to solve it as well. The richest country in the world is not able to save 60,000 of the people, right? That means that we need to have a completely crazy innovation that we need to start thinking around what could solve it, right? Today, there is 2 major opportunities out of this crisis. Number one is health-related things, right? Even a rich country in the world do not have a solution. So if somebody sitting in Rajkot could find a solution that could work, that could help India, you have a gold potential for it, right? So that is the level of scale of problem that we're looking at today, is about the scale of the problem is huge, as well as the solution will have a demand, which is going to be really huge. Anything around the health sector, you have an opportunity, including whether to make a mask, whether you are making a PPE kit, or you are improving a ventilator, or you can make an oxygen out of the air, or you can, figure out a way for you to probably, do this immunization model. The Ayush Ministry has put out a lot of things which is a natural immunity builder. So you can start looking at those products as well. Can we start building immunity? That is all on the health side of it. We need technologies to track people who are in red, green, yellow. So there could be a potential possible. There is one NGO in the last 3 weeks is mapped the entire Bangalore where the essential is. A lady in a platform shop selling vegetable is marked, right? A person who needs food is being marked. So he's able to crowdsource this data. He mapped the entire Bangalore within 3 weeks. So now an NGO want to provide food to a needy, he uses this technology. Even a big company like Zomato, Swiggy want to find where the sellers are available so that I can buy vegetable, that using his technology. Like this, the solutions could be across in many parts where you can start looking at. For you, as an entrepreneur, go deeper in health. What is your skill that you have? You can start applying, right? That is one part of it. Then the essentials. So the more focus is going around the safety element, protecting people, saving lives. The second element is about prevention of it. So how do we ensure that people at home are fed, right? We're able to provide essential to people. So that is why the essential industry has a huge amount of opportunities available for people to look at. I will give you some examples in both sides. In health, there is an entrepreneur who was providing IoT devices to farmers for weather forecast and also drip irrigation. And he saw that during this crisis, the entire supply chain is disrupted. The farmer is not able to take the produce to the market. He turned around. He had 20 youth working for him in the villages. He turned around and he started gathering what the supply is available. He sent out the messages to people in apartments, and he's able to, in the last 2 to 3 weeks, every day he's doing around 500,000 orders that he's delivering vegetables to people, farm to home. The real sense, it's working very well, right? There is another entrepreneur who was very good in IoT, who was doing technologies. Now he's working with the government of Karnataka to build a sanitization tunnel, right? So using chlorine, it's not approved by the government. So he's now looking at whether we can use herbals to do that. There is a student startup out of Coimbatore. These guys are making air purifier. Now they're pivoting, they're developing a technology to make oxygen, because many of these smaller hospitals, now people on ventilator, oxygen is a problem, right? We have to buy oxygen cylinders. Now she's able to make a very simple device. It creates oxygen. People can utilize this oxygen. This is just a student. She's a third-year student in a college in Coimbatore. She's able to come up with this idea. now this great opportunity is that if you have an idea, if it is an amazing innovation, you have an opportunity to present to the government as well. Now we have here government is listening to you. This entrepreneur from Coimbatore is able to present her idea to DST, Department of Science and Technology. They said it's a great idea. Okay, when can you have the product ready, right? There is a person who works on crafts, right? She supplies handloom fabric to big apparel companies who has an opportunity to work with a lot of textile mills. They're all idling. So immediately she transferred to making them masks. The last few weeks, she's able to sell 50,000 masks, right? And all the orders are coming to her with 100% advance, right? The 1 year revenue, what she did on handlooms, she's able to make that in one month. She made that much revenue. So money is not a problem if you have an amazing solution, if you have a great innovation. People are open to try, people are open to buy, people are either eager to sell, pay you as well in advance, because the mask is going to become a part of our body anymore, right? So everybody needs to start wearing a mask when you start going out. So that's going to be huge potential, and she's able to realize that potential early on, and she's able to come back and start looking at. There's one more startup in Bangalore, Zonama Investment, Freshworld. He has 45 electric vehicles. He was selling vegetables. During this crisis, people are not able to run these carts because the staff is afraid to put a cart standing around for people to come and buy. So he saw another startup which is struggling. They were selling e-commerce online for meats, but they were not selling during this crisis. He acquired this company. He immediately, within a week, he got the capability to sell things online. So he stopped all the carts, opened up his hubs, right? 4 warehouses he opened up using this app. Now he's able to sell pre-COVID, how much revenue he was doing, he's able to do the same amount of revenue now. So AccuHire, right? There's a lot of startups available trying to figure out what needs to be done. This is a great time to collaborate, great time acquire them, great time work with them, so that you are leveraging each other's skills, so that there are 10 people are not working on the same problem, that different problem, different solution. They're all working to their solving one problem, right? Like this, there is a great opportunities available in essentials as well. Not only the food side. This FPO organization in horticulture department in Bangalore, there are 100 FPOs they're working with. I asked the person, what is the number two immediate problem that you need solution with? She said, I need startups, who can market my products. I can start working with them immediately, right? There are a lot of student startups are working with them now. The one student startup is able to sell 3 tons of vegetable for one FPO. These students are still sitting in Mumbai. They're helping an FPO in Bangalore to sell the people in apartments in Bangalore, right? All done using digitally technology, right? That's the potential you have. The number 2 problem that FPO manager is selling is their transportation. He says, I want startups with transportation solution. Now I'm able to find a market, but I don't know how to take this product forward because my traditional system is not working today. The truck guys are not working. So there is an opportunity for startups who can enable trucks, come and pick it up. We will tell you where to deliver. You can do it. So these are 2 major things that hundreds of FPOs today asking for solutions now. That startups are coming forward with the solution, they're solving it. So you need not be in that technology. You need not be in agriculture to solve agriculture problem. You don't need not be in healthcare to solve a healthcare problem. You repurpose your skill. You understand what is the skill that you have. Can you repurpose the skill to the current need? The demands are so high today. You can start looking at this. Bunch of our students in IIM Bangalore, they use the newspaper to develop the social distancing kit, right? They started pre-orders now. You roll a newspaper and put it on your belt. They developed a small clip, and now social distancing kit. He got a 200 kit order from a construction industry because they're opening construction in some parts in Bangalore, but they want social distancing, so they ordered 200 kits from these students. They didn't even have a company yet. Right? During this crisis, they figured out, they started this, they started pre-order, they got an order now, right? Like this, any sector you are in, start opening your eyes and start looking at the problem. Can you repurpose your skills and apply it? There is an immediate market. Market, you don't need to worry about demand creation as well. Many of these products, the moment you have it, you start putting it in social media, people will start calling you with saying that, I need this solution. where can I buy these things, right? So that's the potential you have. Many entrepreneurs across the country has leveraged this very well and able to come up with a very quick solutions, and they're all doing very well, right? There's one startup we have in Karur, small place in natively supported. So he sells snacks from original places, right? So nobody's going to buy snacks today. But he saw that Ayush Ministry notice around immunity boosters. He went around, saw this, all the product listed in Ayush Ministry, started arranging these products, and he started putting out in his online. The first shipment of these Ayurveda herbals went to US last week, right? So market is there everywhere. You need to come up with an appropriate product for you to sell. So he's struggling to move it to Bangalore, but he's able to ship it to US because you got to get the appropriate approval. He's able to move it. Now he's now figuring out local startups who's doing delivery. He's saying that I will ship a big consignment to Bangalore. You pick it up and start delivering locally, right? So one student startup in Delhi, now working with him, he's sending a consignment to Delhi, and she is selling locally in Delhi to people. Like this, I was really impressed with kind of innovation, the kind of resilience people have, our entrepreneurs coming forward and supporting this crisis, because every solution that you are providing, you are reducing the burden on the government, right? Because every entrepreneur is coming up with solution, solving this problem, building immunity, building preventive activity that government can focus on bigger problems. So that here is opportunity for all you entrepreneurs. Jump in, start looking at solutions, and immediately there is a market available. Don't think too much. You need to move very fast, come with solution, go to the market, collaborate, buy, work with people so that you can move it to the market very quick. Yeah, I agree.
Thank you for giving us a full view of the various ways startups are tackling this COVID challenge. What are the problem with the running startups, especially the newer ones, is the management of cash flows. And so how do you, what do you think some ideas about cash flow management for the startups?
Absolutely. I think the number one is about, preserve the cash as much as possible. Every 1 rupee you spend, think multiple times that you really spend the money. And you may be in a position that you can talk to your customers, start engaging. They may not be ready to buy your product, but can they advance purchase or buy gift coupons, right? Or you talk to your customer may be pivoting as well. He may be changing his thought process as well. Can you work with them? That is one way to look at. The other one is start bartering, right? Because today, two of my startups, my investment, there is zero revenue for them. So, but now they are able to talk to their employees, provide the minimum sustenance so that they're able to run the household. But now, two of my other startups in agriculture doing very well. So we said that we will give all our employees 10,000 rupee voucher for all the grocery and agriculture, F&B. So that this startup is preserving the cash. The other startup is, able to sell more, but he's not under cash pressure, he's doing very well. So they're signing a loan agreement, they'll settle it later, right? Like this, be very, very innovative in bartering your ideas, your ability to work with anyone. Can you start giving, like, for example, we did a session for crafts people, right? So this lady was telling about, I need to pay a rent for my office. We said, like, give your landlord 2 saris, saying that here's your 2 saris, take it for your Diwali, and just don't ask me rent for next month, right? So like this, start leveraging a product to do bartering for you. So we were talking about the cash flow management and bartering, right? Wherever possible, try to barter with your product. So you ensure that you're able to preserve the cash as much as possible. And the second part is about this, an opportunity to probably look at a product that you always wanted to do a pet project. You never had a time. If you're able to have your team work together with you with the less money, whatever is available, can you start creating the product you never had a chance to work on? So I'll give you during the dot-com boom, right? 2000, I was working in an IT company and the internet just started and suddenly it crashed, right? All the IT companies which are doing internet all closed down. Overnight, big companies are closing down left and right. So we went to all our employees. We said that internet is going to stay, but not today. It's going to open up maybe little after. We have an opportunity to probably let go of people, or all of us take a pay cut. Let's work towards this technology, because our technology, old technology, doesn't work very well in internet. Let's look at the next 3 months, completely restructure our product, completely rewrite the product, which 100% works on internet. If that happens, we can win the market. We are surprised that a lot of people said we will be with you, right? We all worked together, we all took a pay cut, but we rewarded them with the employee stock option, right? If you're working today and you're asking your employees to sacrifice a bit, be liberal with the employee stock option. Give them a good stocks so that when things pick up, you are rewarding them as well. So 3 months, all of us, took a big paycheck. We worked on this product. When things started picking up around 4 months, 6 months, we were one of the company came up with this fantastic product, 100% on internet. And all our stocks that we got, which worth nothing, within a year, it was very skyrocketed to like 20 to 30 times went up. So that is an opportunity that you have to look at and say that can you have your team together, work on this product, you never had a chance to work on it, make sure product is awesome, keep communicating with your customers. Communication with customers is very, very important, because they also will help you with the inputs, they will also help you with the ideas, so that when you are redefining your product, upgrading your product, they're with you. When things pick up, they will buy. Then we have another one in crafts, right? And she was in a luxury segment. Her sari is costing 20,000 bucks. Today, nobody is going to buy 20,000 bucks sari. But she was targeting people who are a little well off, right? But some of these people want to donate. So now what she's doing, she's putting this sari at an auction. The 20,000 rupees sari, it's costing 1 lakh. You can buy this sari and I will put your name in it, right? While it is happening, what's your name you want to put it? I will put your name. I'll send you this 1 lakh rupee sari. This 80,000 rupees I'm going to spend for weavers' food, so that you are able to help the weavers' food as well. At the same time, you are buying my sari also. So people are now willing to help for food for the people who are struggling, right? The farmers or the weavers or the daily wagers, all of them are struggling for even a day-to-day food. But that's an opportunity. This crafts company is able to sell her product and is able to take care of her weavers as well, and how she's able to come differently. There's another craft startup picked up 100-year-old, her grandmother's sari, and she put it up on the internet saying that this is a 100-year-old motif. And if any of you want to make this sari similar, I can customize it for you. Give me next 2 months. My weavers will make it for Diwali. We will ship this product to you. Like this, even though you may not have a product available today to sell, nobody is willing to buy, you have an opportunity to rethink, right? About engaging with the customer, selling the gift cards. So another crafts companies, what is doing, it is teaching the consumer about what Pochampalli means, what does ikat means. They're teaching about setting up a small, loom with a cardboard, and you weave your own kerchief. And now people sitting at home, they're trying to, kill time. Now they're teaching them how to weave. Now they see the effort, how much effort goes on making, one kerchief. They appreciate the efforts of the weavers. So like this, every opportunity, every crisis, you need to start looking at how can I re-leverage? How can I think about different ways to go to the consumer? And can I repurpose a skill? If my company is in a particular product, I'm making t-shirts today. Can you start making masks? There is a market for it, right? I'm in a jewelry segment. People may not buy jewelry, but can you start putting out, gold as an investment opportunity? Look at that when the stock market is crashing. Obviously, people invest in these kind of things. So provide us an investment opportunity, right? Like this, you can start looking at positioning these places in a very, very different way. Even though you may not have your current product to sell, but you always will be able to find products for the future, or repurpose, or figure out, go back and start remaking. There's one student startup in Chennai who was making a motor for electric vehicle. He was making a very innovative motor, but it's going to take another year or so for him to complete the product. And he immediately got all the entire team started working about a motor for a ventilator, right? So they started talking to ventilator startup and say that I will provide you a motor. They completely rechanged, but the same product, right? But different market, a market which is thriving today. and they're able to talk to them, they're able to start making it, right? So like this, even if you are running an existing company, start looking at opportunities and from your company. But if you're an HNI, that's where in a natively we are seeing that we have a lot of HNIs who are big businesses, right? When some of these problems come, the problem is going to be huge for them. And we are telling them, yes, your business will take time to recover, but you may have an opportunity if you want to put aside some money in startups. So during this crisis, we have invested in a startup in near Chennai, Maduranthagam. There is a small startup started by a very young person providing a milk, farm to home milk. During this crisis, he's growing very, very fast. Then we told our investors saying that here's an opportunity. Our own business may be struggling for a while, but here is a business that is scaling very well. You can put aside some money there. I'm sure he will do very well in this crisis. So if we have a scalable model, even in this crisis, there is investment possible. This company, Farmers Fresh Zone, which was, he called me and when the lockdown happened saying that we have vegetable store and none of the staff came forward for opening the shop. They are scared. We immediately connected with the local government. They trained the staff about safety. We immediately connected them with the PPE equipment manufacturer, equipped them with the PPE kits. So now the last 25 days, he's grown 300% growth, right? Because he's a pure farm to home delivery and he has a traceability. People can see where my vegetables coming from and what are the fertilizers utilized and why it is safe to eat. He's grown 300% during the 25 days. Before the crisis, he was pitching to a VC. The VC asked him that, are you a supply chain company or are you a consumer company? He said, I'm a consumer company, but I can control my supply chain so that I can help the farmers and have technology. People did not understand. But today, well, the big companies, funded companies are struggling to supply and he's growing 300%. The same VC now during the crisis, giving a term sheet, he said, I want to invest $2 million in your company. That's the potential that you have. How brilliant you are, current crisis, turn the crisis into your opportunity. And today, people will see your product visibly very well. You don't have to market. While big companies are struggling, this guy sent a picture of a farmer selling to his collection center. That vegetables, going to the consumer. He sent 3 pictures to people. That's all. People got it. Wow. So you are working. While the big companies are struggling, you are continuing to supply, and we believe you. So we want to support you. So that's an opportunity even for existing company. Repurpose, tell your story, ensure that you can barter it, preserve the cash, work towards the futuristic product. All these things are all possibilities. Even if we need to probably figure out a collaboration, do it. Don't think too much, right? Do an acqui-hire, join another company which has a similar skills, work together to make it happen. Don't keep thinking that I want to be on my own, I want to scale it up. If you think that there's an opportunity knocking for a merger, do it. Because the more people working together, you have a better chance of succeeding rather than competing each other in this current crisis. Yeah, be very open, be positive. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for these inputs. Right, I just got a WhatsApp forward in which it was attributed to Jack Ma, the founder of Alibaba, that if you survive for 1 year, then you are going to grow very well. So surviving for this 1 year through collaboration, through working with the customers, finding some solutions which are viable to everyone is going to be very key for the startups, and especially those who are in the idea stage and concept stage. So before we talk about the innovation ecosystem and the other part, and a lot of questions about agriculture is also coming up. Before that, I would like to request Hiranmay to mention about 4 or 5 interesting startups that have that are doing well in the COVID. Our own stars in our ecosystem. Can you share something?
Yes, sir. We have startups broadly in 3 to 4 areas who are working in the COVID domain. Few of them are into supply chain and hyperlocal delivery. So there are 3 startups. One is called Friendly, who is delivering supply chain and managing supply chain in the local neighborhood. Another is called Mind Tool Bag from the Vishwakarma Government Engineering College. They are the last mile delivery startups. So these are the startups who are trying to deliver things at the last mile. And one of the startup called eSwasthya, he is aggressively working on supplying medical stops to household people who are at need, and also helping medicals to deliver medicines and allied things for patients. So these are startups who are working in the domain of supply chain. There are another group of startups who are into PPE equipment manufacturing. There might be different variety of PPE equipments, right from masks to nanofiber design tools. So these are the second category of startups. We have around 10 of those startups working. And the third are the group of startups who are working into more into drone and surveillance technology, who have been closely working with the home department, the urban civic department, in terms of mapping the audience, mapping the containment zone. And the fourth are the kind of startups who are trying to ensure that the business continuity. So these are startups into augmented reality, virtual reality, and all, who are helping SMEs to continue their business operations. For example, there is a startup founded by Kevut Dulabak. He is helping virtual reality technology to help companies who are not having their foot soldiers in the field to maintain their operations now. So these are kind of four category of startups, and we have around 30 odd startups from supported by SSIP who are doing very well in this picture. In fact, one of the interesting things that we found is some startups are in the near extinct phase of their value chain, who have got new life in this space. They are growing 300%, like you mentioned. So I think the crisis is an opportunity for them also to grow.
Yeah, it is a true mark of innovator and an entrepreneur to make every crisis into an opportunity. I think I have also has facilitated all these people in getting opportunities in winning opportunities in customers and all that, right? So with this,
Get government access.
Yes.
yeah. So that is one of the big positive advantages of iHub is that it is being supported by the government, but it's not government is only not involved in day-to-day operations. It's run in a very professional way, and the sole purpose is to increase the pipeline, support the ideas of the students, and with the help of teachers and principals and other college mentors and enablers, we have certainly increased our patent filing rate has increased 8x, and it's a lot of impact that has been seen. So now coming back to you, Mr. Prakasam, Nagaraj Prakasam.
Yes.
So we would like to talk to you because being a person who is interested in building the ecosystem, making the pie bigger, for everyone, we have to come out of our organizational silos and make the overall culture and environment positive and work together. In that, tell us some interesting insights about Bangalore ecosystem and how do you see Gujarat and especially Ahmedabad, Surat, Rajkot and all coming up. And also, I would also request you to mention about how local startups can come together, especially in your experiment with Native Lead and similar kind of initiatives.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think the one is around this increased collaboration is it's happening now, and also the repurposing is happening. As I mentioned, there's quite a lot of them. They're just leaving the primary thing, what I call pivot to adapt, and they're pivoting temporarily. The temporary pivot could become permanent as well, based on how they're able to leverage this crisis to their opportunity. So that's one. From the ecosystem perspective, I think if you look at from Bangalore side, obviously there is quite a lot of innovations coming from every aspect of it, right? From health sector to essential, and people are coming forward to collaborate. So initially, after there is a shock, there's quite a bit of positive energy is being pumping in. There are a lot of these incubator, accelerators, all of them having these sessions, talking to people, and also looking at opportunities as well, even to invest. Apart from that as well, there is quite a lot of collaborative effort happening in support these kind of initiatives, right? There is this initiative, all the VCs of the countries came together and put out a grant available for startups solving innovative solutions. And we have the government of India has, Niti Aayog has a program, DST has Kavach, and there is social impact investors have come forward, put out a grant for people solving innovative solutions. Yesterday also there is one of one of the initiatives started in Bangalore. It's called Equal Societies, right? Because you saw that when this crisis happened and thousands of people hitting the streets, they're walking back to their villages, right? So what I was calling that as like a Bharat saying bye to India, where, when the lockdown happened, people who have a comfort, they're all sitting in home and they were all trying to figure out how to kill time. Whereas the migrant workers and people on daily wages, they were trying to figure out about how can I get home, because they feel that this is a city disease, I need to flee out. So there was an initiative started yesterday about equal cities. People started talking about, how do we bridge this inequality in the cities? There is an angle people are talking about. And there's more collaboration is happening between different organizations as well, because people see that individually people alone cannot solve problems. So we did a session 2 days back on agriculture at NSRCell. We brought a VC fund in agriculture, and we brought Agri-Innovate, which is supporting all the ICR, Agri Research Institutes of the Government of India, 168 institutes with 2,000 scientists. We have like thousands of technologies, sciences available for agriculture. So we brought them, and we brought horticulture department head who manages 100 FPOs. We brought her, as well as Ved Arya, who runs this fellowship program, taking IIM, IIT graduates into agriculture. So we brought all the 4 of them and say how we can collaborate now. This is the best time to collaborate. So the VC is telling the farmers could not afford my technologies, right? They're not open for leveraging my technology. The FPO is telling that find about business models so that we can afford, right? So help us in marketing, help us in transportation. So then when we do very well, we will be able to buy technologies as well. They're open for it, right? Now, they're asking that IIM train these FPO CEOs, bring them new skills available for them. So they want this help, where the Buddha Fellowship is saying that I will bring you skills. People from, big reputed colleges come and work for in agriculture. Like this, this is a time people are going beyond their silos. They're not only focusing on what is my strength, but how can I leverage other strength, other person's strength as well, so that while all of us can work together, we can collectively make more things done. Previously, having a conversation like this is tougher. Today, it is getting easier because people are more tolerant today, and because the crisis make more everybody humble. When the richest country in the world is struggling, people are figuring out who am I, right? What am I going to do? So they're feeling about my strength can be leveraged working with more people rather than me alone solving problems. So that is the one that is happening now. Similarly, which we are doing for the crop sector, I did just before this, I was talking to people in the Northeast ecosystem. So when I meet people, I see a lot of people in marketing. Everybody wants to sell a sari, handloom thing. But when I go visit in some of the cluster in say Maheshwari, and I ask where is the silk is coming from, they say the silk is coming from China. So where we are talking about sustainable fashion and we say handloom, but the silk is coming from China. The Kolkata region, West Bengal, is popular for a Tassar silk. The Tassar silk is coming from China. So we started calling all the entrepreneurs in the craft sector. I said, instead of all of you competing with marketing, why don't you start dividing yourself? Few of you work on marketing, few of you work on inputs. Can you start revive the Indian silk? Why weavers are not wanting Indian silk? Why they want Chinese silk? Go solve the silk problem. So if you solve the silk problem, right? If anybody want a Aries silk, you are the only company in the whole country, only startup who can provide an authentic, high quality ingredient. So like that, divide it up so that the sector can do work with the collaboration of multiple people. People are not open before. People said, I will do everything on my own. But even today now, traveling is tough. A Bangalore startup sitting in Bangalore selling a Pochampalli sari cannot go to Pochampalli, do anything. So they need to identify somebody who can collaborate locally. So that is that, people have gone towards more in collaboration. Not only the startups, the ecosystem players also started collaborating, because what do we need for this country? And what do you need for this my city? What can I do together? They started looking at Similarly, that is an opportunity we have in Ahmedabad as well. So with Nagarajan's, being a chief guest, we did an event a few months back. We invited all this, many of the associations in Ahmedabad. We said how all of you can come together, work towards creating a more vibrant entrepreneurial ecosystem, because there are great stories from Ahmedabad come, but there's no angel investor who can take a credit for it, right? Because this entrepreneur either supported by the government early on, or once he started scaling, he left Ahmedabad. He went to Bangalore to grow his company. So now the investors in Bangalore can take a credit for the startups. If people in Ahmedabad, people in Surat, people in Baroda, people in Gujarat, who come forward, start supporting the startups, become an angel investor, because government has given a lot of grants to a lot of student startups. When angels come forward working with these startups, then angels can bring the market angle to the startups so that they can help these entrepreneurs to get mentored towards the market so they can build a successful businesses. So when the investor, when an angel investor in a startup is helping to grow the startup, when the startup grows very well, the angel investor also getting returns, as well as the startup also growing, as well as we are able to create a startup to stay in Ahmedabad, increase employment opportunities in Ahmedabad, that everybody, every ecosystem player in Ahmedabad can take credit that we've created this ecosystem. Look at this, there are hundreds of startups doing 10 crores and above. And we all invested in this company, our value had went up. So that's an opportunity that we have, even this crisis now, come forward, close to work towards, and started working towards closely as well. So this is what we have done in agriculture. This morning, I was talking with the scientific advisor office about some project on agriculture. And after the call, we've decided that we cannot give this project to one single organization. So we are able to find 5 organizations. We are reaching out to all the 5 organizations, saying that each one of you have a strength, but all of you need to be working together in this project. Then only it will be successful. So that is what, even government side, these things are happening about pushing people to collaborate so that everyone's strength is leveraged. I think that's what we need to do, what you have done, Nagarajan in Surat, how you are able to bring the local ecosystem. We need to bring in every region of Gujarat, this association, even the academics also together, start working together. Earlier, Hiranmaya used to joke at Ahmedabad. He says that near that my office area, if an entrepreneur walking and shouting that I have an idea, there are 10 incubators will pull him in, right? So I think that's the good news as well. What is the good news? You have created a cluster of incubators, right? The cluster models are very, very important for a scale. If you look at in China, Japan, or even in India, you can see the clusters are doing very well, right? Look at a cluster of people, crops in Jaipur, right? They're doing very well. Hundreds and thousands of startups in IT working together in Bangalore. It's very successful. They created a cluster of IT startups. There's a cluster of people working in probably a particular product, a jewelry, like explore a diamond, right? Like this, the clusters have created a lot of advantage for economy boost. Look at this, Tirupur cluster, 40% of Indian textiles coming from that cluster, right? It's like Gujarat has a very unique opportunity that you create a cluster of incubators. Now you start leveraging each other, right? So there is one incubator focused on one particular area. Then I'm good in agriculture. I'm good in design. I'm good in crafts. I'm good in hardware. I'm good in healthcare. Like that, you can start creating a cluster. Or if some entrepreneur coming to your incubator and he says, I need design help, you don't need to go scratch your head, find a design person who collaborate with a design incubator. Instead, go to there, they will help you on design. Once your design is done, come back to us, right? Similarly, then you want to make 100 prototype. So, you don't have a maker village. You call a incubator, which has a very good Fab Labs. You said, here is this startup, my startup, I'm sending you, help you to make the first 100 products. So you are leveraging that entrepreneur, that incubator for that purpose. Like that, you will be able to create a wonderful ecosystem of incubator cluster, and any entrepreneur walk in, he can get help in every angle possible, right? He did not leave that place and that cluster of opportunities available. So like that, do not compete, create a cluster so that start leveraging each other's strength, so that as a goal, Gujarat is getting pushed up, right? Gujarat entrepreneur never think twice about leaving Gujarat to come to Bangalore, because he has getting help in every angle, not only about seed funding, grant from government, every support about making the product, designing the product, selling the product, and you have angels supporting that as well from the market side of it, and everybody is there to build a fantastic ecosystem. So that's an opportunity that we have. I think in Gujarat, especially the education department, taken a great initiative because it's very unique in the country. This startup initiative is, full swing, run by an education institution. The reason is that if you look at Niti Aayog or DST funded incubators, where they are located inside an institution. So now you have the institution, so you have the opportunity to make appropriate policy changes so that these institutions can leverage these incubators better. That's why Gujarat is in a very, very unique position about education department is driving it so that the youth, which is the 50% of our population, is able to fed with this problem solving capability, and you are able to leverage this incubator just not merely as a college project, but solving real problems. I was really happy to see the hackathon happening across the colleges with the initiative SSIP, where industry has given problems, right? So where industry is saying that our students are not employable. Today, with this startup ability, even if you are a successful entrepreneur, you are doing awesome. But even if you're a failed entrepreneur, your ability to go adapt in an employment environment is awesome, because every failed entrepreneur is equivalent to a person with 10 years of experience. And your ability to find a job and your employer calling you as non-employable is very, very less. Because most of these people today in this corporate sector has a fancy statement saying that our students are not employable. But having SSIP involved in the entrepreneurship policy and enabling them towards problem solving, and we are also improving the employability of your student. If you're not an entrepreneur, you are becoming a better employable person as well. But I would encourage you create more jobs rather than looking for a job, because this is the best time to become an entrepreneur. Whatever the innovation, whatever the idea you have, this is the best time. If you're able to use the crisis, you can able to sell the market also, because market is very open today. You don't need to spend too much money on marketing today. If you have a fantastic product that solves the problem, it goes like a viral, and easily people will call you. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for touching upon all the critical issues and the positivities of the Gujarat ecosystem. Certainly, like you have mentioned, the iHub is trying to act as a coordinator and aggregator and orchestrator of this ecosystem, and also filling the gaps. And we certainly have incubators who are specialized in engineering, technology, mechanical engineering, and design. And we also have in pharmacy, biotech, and all these sectors which are very, very focused on these things. So I think now it is time to come together and work together. So this 100 webinar series is also one of the initiatives to bring the ecosystem together. And but going by the comments, I can see a lot of people are inspired by your ideas, and you have also touched about the problems of the rural migrants, especially when they are city. And Equal City seems to be a very sensitive and a nice initiative to bring equality. And also there are some aspiring NSSL applicants also who are in the audience, and a lot of good questions have been coming up, and thank you for answering that. And some questions about especially agri startups, artificial intelligence and machine learning in agriculture, and how to find a perfect revenue model for agri starters. I think we should have a special session on that. And and also we would like to work more closely with IIM Bangalore. We already have a lot of good support from NSSL for the iHub initiative, and we would like to extend it further. At an education department level, we are also looking at sending people for faculty development programs and other sessions to IIM Bangalore. And one important thing I can tell you is that in our ecosystem, more than 150 people are taking an online course on ecosystem development, which was done by Startup Commons, and it was made free. And the point is 150 people interested in that course, and we all formed a separate WhatsApp group, and we are completing this course not just as a course but as an ecosystem and as a group and peer learning. I think that creates a vibrant mentality. It breaks the mental models and creates a global thinking and vision where collaboration and open innovation become very, very important. We grow by leveraging on each other's strengths. So that is one of the major things I get from your point. And also I should also thank you for giving this wonderful information about all the important initiatives that are happening. I would like to pose one last question about what will be the new normal and how this reverse migration will be happening, because now it is said people who are going back are most likely not going to come back to the cities. So it is going to hit a lot of entrepreneurs. At the same time, it's going to create a lot of opportunities, both in the cities, a pivot opportunity, and also in the villages and tier 2 cities where new requirements will come up. What do you think on that?
Yeah, this is very, very fantastic question. Let's talk about this future now, right? Because if you look at, as I mentioned earlier, these models which we were emulating, right? Look at that richest country in the world, lost 60,000 of the people, and any innovation, anything with the money, nothing is possible, right? And people are also wondering about the Silicon Valley innovation. So during this crisis, there is zero innovation from Silicon Valley, which was able to help the richest country, right? With the lot of people who have a lot of knowledge, talent, not able to do it. The only technology is probably what we're using to talk now, right? The connecting technologies, what happened earlier is what helping, but not able to innovate. So similarly, you can see that, companies also, big investment received, like this company like Ola, which received $3.2 billion investment, which is about 10% of the relief package announced by the government of India now, right? So they are struggling with the 25-day of lockdown, and they're not able to stand on their own. So what are the sustainable models? What people believe these tech-based companies, which can create a big companies, solve problems, which are all shattered, over probably just matter of 2 weeks, they're struggling, right? Ola is asking common people to support their drivers because they made all the money through the drivers, but they don't have money to even support their driver, right? So this will question the models, what the country should follow. And also the second is about, if you look at the most impacted city is New York, right? Which also questions about the model of the city where it's getting overcrowded and it's becoming impossible to manage things, which we saw in India as well, that people started leaving saying that it is a city disease and I want to go back to my hometown and village. So this is the one is about the future of cities will have definitely a relook about how we do. And India, we have an interesting way where it is our villages were getting empty and our cities are getting overcrowded because of only one reason, it's the economic reason. So this is where the reverse migration has a fantastic silver lining for every social entrepreneurs out there in the country. Relook at the skilling part. What kind of skilling that we can provide? We had a great initiative called the National Rural Livelihood Mission. When I visit this part of the NRLM to many villages back then, I will see only the elderly, right? Women with 55. My children are settled, and I'm making now pickles, right? Now I'm learning tailoring. So all these were all, were part of the NRLM project. The productive youth were all leaving, whether men or women. The productive youth who are leaving the villages empty. Now the productive youth is back to the villages. Now there is a great opportunity for two angles. One is, as you rightly said, even if you have opened up economy, they're going to think twice whether I need to come to cities. That's why we have an opportunity to train them about what are the skills that wherever I am sitting, wherever I am, how can I make 10,000 rupees minimum so that I don't need to migrate to the city. So those skills, those entrepreneurs who have great ideas, this skills could be anything. It could be about making crafts, or an ability to provide a smartphone, become an agripreneur, or you climb coconut tree using machine, make like 1,000 rupee a day climbing coconut trees, or you do a telemedicine centers, or you can create a solar panels at your place, or upgrade your old goldsmith, and now you have new tools that you can cater it to a different market. Whatever it is, that skill could be anything, or you can teach them Android development, app development, right? This SP Robotics is one of my investment. We have 85 centers. During this crisis, all of these were closed. Immediately, this entrepreneur opened up through 2 courses only online, teaching, developing Android development. We have 1 lakh students signed up during this crisis, learning how to develop Android. And it was targeted to the 10-year-old students, right? 10-year-old children. Now they are looking at NGOs taking these courses to villages, right? If there is a youth and he has a decent smartphone, why can't he learn Android development, right? He need not come back to the city, and he can offer a startup, say that I will test your app sitting in my village. Now I know how that app works, and he give me 500 rupee a day. I'll sit at my home and do a testing for you. Like this, we can have an amazing number of opportunities available to reskill, upskill these people who went back, so that we also reduce the burden on the cities. At the same time, we improve the rural livelihood so that the growth is more equal. So today, it is very much visible when this crisis happened, how Bharat has started walking towards, and saying bye to India. We saw a porter from Mumbai, pedaling 1,800 kilometers going to his village. That he should be owning getting a Olympic medal, right? Because he was riding a Jugaad tri-wheeler, and he was able to do it in 9 days, 700 rupees. So that's what the sports can be relooked at as well. What is our priority? So that's what in Europe, one scientist was asked about when will you have a vaccine ready. He said, I'm getting $1,800 monthly salary, where you're paying $1 million to Messi. Go ask Messi for a vaccine, right? So this is also going to relook at the entire priorities of humankind, about where are we spending, which jobs are getting more rewarded, which jobs are not, what is essential. We are very glad today, even during this crisis, people are, putting a lot of good news about the doctors, no doubt, right? All of them are very, very doing amazing job, saving lives. But at the same time, we started seeing posts coming around saying thanks to a delivery boy, right? So he's also take the similar level of risk, bought you food so that you don't starve. There are started, thanking the sanitation workers that they are able to remove my waste, wet waste, so that it doesn't contaminate further. They started thanking them as well, which we never did as a country. We never had a dignity of labor. Today, we are able to thank the delivery boys. We are able to thank the sanitation workers. We are able to thank all the frontline workers beyond the doctors and police. So, which is a new normal, right? We are able to start thinking seriously what is important in life. I'm sure that will give a great opportunity to build the equal society, what we always wanted to do. And this model which we are emulating, like US and all these model itself is struggling. Places like New York, which overpopulation, crowded cities cannot control spread, which will make us to rethink, because India is still a growing country. When we grow, can we build a country sustainably, so that it is building an equal society, it is building a sustainable society, so that we are able to leverage all the learning from across the world as we build this nation, and the startups play a major role in it. So start looking very, very futuristically. Don't look at the model what we were following earlier, and look at the model we followed which did not work, and learn why it did not work. Find new models so that we can build a sustainable society, and that's where the future is holding us for. Yeah.